Yeah, Kim Porter was found this morning in bed, unresponsive, in the upstairs bedroom of this Toluca Lake home. She was an actress and model, but was perhaps best known for her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. Just about a half hour ago, we saw an LA County coroner's van leaving the property.
The longtime girlfriend of entertainer Sean Diddy Combs, Kim Porter, was laid to rest yesterday in her hometown of Columbus, Georgia.
Questions that never went away. The death of Kim Porter. This is the story of Kim Porter's death in 2018 and why questions about it exploded 6 years later. A model and actress who shared 13 years with Sean Diddy Combs died suddenly at 47 from pneumonia.
Funeral taking place at Cascade Hills Church. Porter leaves behind 3 children with Combs and an older son by singer Al B. Shore.
But when Diddy was arrested in 2024, conspiracy theories about her death consumed the internet, leading to a fake memoir, a family's public plea, and a Netflix documentary that reignited everything all over again. Before we dive in, I want to be clear about what this video is and isn't. We're going to look at the verified facts about Kim Porter's death, the official findings from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, and the timeline of events that led to renewed speculation. This isn't about promoting conspiracy theories. It's about understanding why they won't go away and what the people who actually knew Kim have to say about it. Who was Kim Porter? Kim Porter had a life before she became known primarily as Diddy's partner, and that life tells you a lot about who she actually was.
Celebrity pastor T.D. Jakes did the eulogy for the funeral. Porter was found dead in her Los Angeles home last Thursday. Authorities say she went into cardiac arrest while fighting flu-like symptoms. She was 47 years old.
Kimberly Antoinette Porter was born December 15th, 1970 in Columbus, Georgia, graduated from Columbus High School in 1988, and started modeling while she was still a teenager. Atlanta became her next stop after graduation, where modeling took her more seriously, and her life took a turn that would define everything that came after. Landing a receptionist job at Uptown Records might not sound like much until you realize the label's founder, Andre Harrell, was the one who hired her, which meant this wasn't just answering phones, but her actual entry into the music industry. She and 2 college friends named Nicole Cook Johnson and Ebony Electra started 3 Brown Girls together, a lifestyle planning company based in Atlanta that gave her entrepreneurial credibility beyond just being someone's girlfriend. One thing that stood out to me while researching this was how Kim Porter invited Janelle Monáe to an open mic night and then made the introductions that helped launch Monáe's career, which shows you the kind of behind-the-scenes influence Porter had that most people never knew about. Acting credits came later with roles in The Brothers in 2001, The System Within in 2006, shows like Single Ladies in 2011, and Mama, I Want to Sing in 2012. Her relationship with Sean Combs made her a household name, but she was building her own career the entire time. The 13-year relationship, Kim Porter and Sean Combs, started dating in 1994, and what followed was 13 years of on and off romance that produced a modern blended family with all the complications that come with it.
Sing now, sing, do something.
Porter already had Quincy Brown from her previous relationship with singer Al B. Shore, and Sean Combs would eventually adopt him as his own son. Their first child together came in 1998 when Kim gave birth to their son Christian, but the couple split up just a year later in 1999, which led to a family court battle over child support that got messy. During their separation, Diddy spent 2 years dating Jennifer Lopez from 1999 to 2003, before he and Kim rekindled things in 2003. December 2006 brought twin daughters Delilah Starr and Jessie James into the world. But there was a problem nobody could ignore. Back in July 2006, while Kim was pregnant with the twins, Diddy had fathered another daughter named Chance with a woman named Sarah Chapman. When Kim found out about this, she'd had enough. That December 2006 interview with Essence magazine shows you where Diddy's head was at when he said, "I know she deserves to get married, but I'm just not ready." Kim Porter ended the relationship in 2007, and her explanation to Essence that September tells you everything about why she walked away. In ending this relationship, I made a decision that was in the best interest of myself, Sean, and our family. I left because at this point in my life, I want something different for myself. I invested 10 years, I have children, and I've always stood by him. But now it's time for me and what I want to do for Kim. She also addressed the cheating head on when she said, "It's not an original script. He's not the first man who's cheated. He's not the first man who's had a baby outside of his relationship. What makes their story complicated is how they remained genuinely close after everything fell apart, with Porter keeping full-time custody while Diddy stayed involved in the kids' lives. Family events like Diddy's Hollywood Walk of Fame star ceremony in 2008 had them both there together, and they both described what they had as being more than best friends." November 15th, 2018, Kim Porter was found unresponsive at her home in the 10,300 block of Woodbridge Street in Toluca Lake, California, on November 15th, 2018. Paramedics pronounced her dead at the scene at 11:40 that morning.
Bad breaking news. ET confirms former model Kim Porter has died. She's the ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs and the mother of his children.
She was 47 years old. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner coroner would later piece together a timeline showing that Kim complained about a sore throat on November 7th, developed a fever hitting 102 degrees by November 12th, and spent her final days dealing with flu-like symptoms that made her send the children to stay with Diddy so they wouldn't catch whatever she had. Medications and hydration drinks sat at her bedside, proof that she was trying to fight it off at home without medical intervention. Diddy told Essence in 2019 what those final days looked like from his perspective. 3 days before she passed, she wasn't feeling well. She had the flu and she sent the kids over to my house so they wouldn't get sick. One night I was checking on her and she was like, "Puffy, take care of my babies." She actually said that to me before she died. An autopsy happened on November 16th, just 1 day after her death, but the cause of death got deferred while they ran more tests. January 25th, 2019, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner coroner released what they'd found. Lobar pneumonia killed her, which is a severe lung infection that attacks a large portion of the lung and can move fast. Natural causes was the official ruling on manner of death, with no indication of foul play or anything external that caused it. Diddy's Instagram tribute on November 18th, 2018, showed the depth of what they'd had together when he wrote, "I don't know what I'm going to do without you, baby. I miss you so much. Today I'm going to pay tribute to you. I'm going to try and find the words to explain our unexplainable relationship. We were more than best friends. We were more than soulmates. We were some other shit. And I miss you so much." For most people paying attention at the time, Kim Porter's death was tragic but straightforward. A woman who thought she had the flu when she actually had a severe pneumonia infection moving too quickly for her to fight off at home. Lobar pneumonia can be treated if you catch it early enough, but it turns fatal when treatment gets delayed, especially if you're dehydrated or your body's already weakened from fighting. At 47 and appearing healthy to everyone who knew her, her sudden death shocked people, but the medical evidence was documented and verified. That could have been where the story ended. 6 years later, everything exploded. September 16th, 2024, the arrest. September 16th, 2024, Sean Diddy Combs got arrested and charged with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The indictment painted a picture nobody wanted to see, and U.S. Attorney Damian Williams laid it out on September 19th when he said, "As alleged in the indictment, for years, Sean Combs used the business empire he controlled to sexually abuse and exploit women, as well as to commit other acts of violence and obstruction of justice." Evidence included a March 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Combs kicking and dragging his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura across a floor, bank records proving payments sent sex workers flying across state lines, and allegations about what prosecutors called freak-offs, which they described as drug-fueled sex marathons that went on for days. Social media exploded the moment Diddy got arrested, and people immediately started looking back at Kim Porter's death with new eyes and darker suspicions. The logic was simple for a lot of people online. If Diddy was capable of this level of violence and control, what else might he have done? 10 days before his arrest, something appeared that threw gasoline on the fire nobody knew was already burning. The Fake Memoir, September 6th, 2024. A 59-page book hit Amazon with the title Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side, published under the pen name Jamal T. Millwood. But the real author was a Los Angeles producer named Chris Todd, whose legal name is Todd Christopher Guzzi. Todd's story was that 2 unnamed music industry sources had given him a flash drive, supposedly containing Porter's writings, and he claimed he'd done some light editing before putting it out into the world. Amazon's bestseller list put it at number 1 almost immediately. Red flags started waving right away when Rolling Stone pointed out the book had numerous typos, factual inaccuracies, and incredulous claims involving high-profile names. Plus, it was stuffed with grammatical errors and spelling mistakes that no professional writer would let through. The allegations inside included physical abuse, sexual coercion, and violent acts that painted Diddy as a monster. Rolling Stone interviewed Todd, and what he said next should have ended the whole thing right there. If somebody put my feet to the fire and they said, "Life or death, is that book real?" I have to say I don't know. But it's real enough to me. Maybe not 100% of the book is true, but maybe 80% is. The author admitted he didn't know if the book was real. Let that sink in for a second. Ebony Electra, who co-founded 3 Brown Girls with Kim and knew her as well as anyone, shut it down publicly before the book even dropped when she posted on social media. Now it's getting out of hand. There is no book. There never was. Several people continue to speak about and spread blatant lies regarding this mystery manuscript as if it were true. 2 more of Porter's friends, Kimora Lee Simmons and LaWanda Lane, told Rolling Stone they'd never heard of Chris Todd, didn't know him, had no idea who he was. Erica Wolf, Sean Combs' attorney, released a statement in September 2024 that called it what it was. The Kim Porter memoir is fake. It is also offensive, a shameless attempt to profit from tragedy. Chris Todd has no respect for Ms. Porter or her family, who deserve better.
I can't tell you what the situation was over. I took them to where the yacht came and picked them up at, and Pup said, "I don't need no security," because it was just personal friends getting on the yacht. And then I picked them up when the yacht came back, and I seen Kim nose taped up.
It is an established fact that Ms. Porter died of natural causes. May she rest in peace. Al B. Sure, Quincy's biological father, initially seemed to back the conspiracy theories and called for a formal investigation into Porter's death, even posting excerpts from Kim's lost words on Instagram while claiming Porter had confided things to him out of desperation. Then he turned around and sent Chris Todd a cease and desist letter calling the book fabricated bullshit. October 2nd, 2024. Amazon pulled the book from its platform completely. Their spokesperson said, "We were made aware of a dispute regarding this title and have notified the publisher. The book is not currently available for sale in our store." The damage was already done, though. Conspiracy theories were everywhere you looked online. The children speak. September 24th, 2024, Kim Porter's 4 children, Quincy Brown, Christian Combs, Jesse Combs, and Delilah Combs, released a joint statement on Instagram that deserves to be read in full because these are the people who knew Kim better than anyone else breathing. They wrote, "We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. While it has been incredibly difficult to reconcile how she could be taken from us too soon, the cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process, and we ask that everyone respect our request for peace as we continue to cope with her loss every day. We are deeply saddened that the world has made a spectacle of what has been the most tragic event of our lives. Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was."
Now to Sean Diddy Combs' investigation. New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kotursky, is at the scene of his arrest. Good morning, Aaron.
Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories. We ask that everyone please respect our mother, Kim Porter, and hold her legacy in high regard so that she may rest in peace. It's what she deserves. We love you and miss you, Mommy. That statement carries weight.
Dirty-looking pebbles. They were dirty. I don't know. When I'm used to seeing diamonds, I'm used to seeing diamonds shiny and in a box, you know. If someone hadn't said they were diamonds, I wouldn't have guessed right away that they were diamonds. I never heard of the term of blood diamonds before.
Because these are 4 people who lost their mother and have spent 6 years processing that loss, while strangers on the internet turn their family tragedy into entertainment. They're not defending their father against the charges he's facing. They're defending their mother's memory and telling everyone who will listen that she died of natural causes with no foul play involved. The internet had other plans. The trial. Diddy's trial kicked off May 5th, 2025, with jury selection happening on May 12th, and his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, arguing that the case was really about domestic abuse rather than sex trafficking, calling Diddy an imperfect person but not a criminal. Closing arguments came June 26th, and the jury reached their verdict on July 2nd, 2025.
We begin with breaking news. Jurors have reached a partial verdict in the Sean Diddy Combs sexual misconduct trial. The jury reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts, but is stuck on the top charge, racketing conspiracy.
The jury acquitted Diddy of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, but found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation for purposes of prostitution, which are Mann Act violations. Sentencing happened October 3rd, 2025, and he got 50 months in prison, which breaks down to 4 years and 2 months, plus a $500,000 fine and 5 years of supervised release after his prison term ends. Credit for time served since his September 2024 arrest means his expected release date,
a charge that could send Combs to jail for life.
The judge has ordered the jury to resume deliberations in the morning. KTLA's Jennifer McGraw is live in the KTLA News Center with the breaking details and the next steps in the case. Good evening, Jen.
Lands on May 8th, 2028. Right now, Diddy's serving his sentence at Federal Correctional Institution Fort Dix in New Jersey after getting moved from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The conviction on prostitution charges, but acquittal on the more serious trafficking charges, left a lot of people feeling unsatisfied, with some thinking justice got served and others convinced he got away with worse. The entire trial kept Kim Porter's name circulating in headlines, with people constantly asking the same question. If he was capable of what he got convicted for, what else might he have done? The Netflix documentary, December 2nd, 2025, just last week, Netflix dropped a 4-part documentary series called Sean Combs: The Reckoning that ran approximately 4 hours total. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson served as executive producer, which matters because he and Diddy have had a long-standing public feud that goes back years. Emmy Award-winning filmmaker Alexandria Stapleton directed it, and the numbers were massive right out of the gate, with 21.8 million views racked up in the first 6 days from December 1st through 8th, making it the second most viewed Netflix title that week, behind only Stranger Things Season 5. Critics gave it mostly positive reviews, with Rotten Tomatoes showing 90% positive based on 10 critics, and Metacritic scoring it 67 out of 100 based on 5 critics. The 4 episodes broke down like this. Episode 1, called Pain vs. Love, ran 1 hour and 2 minutes, covering Combs' origins and rise to power. Episode 2, called What Goes Down Must Come Up, ran 1 hour and 1 minute, covering the Bad Boy versus Death Row rivalry, plus questions about the Tupac shooting. Episode 3, called Official Girl, ran 55 minutes, covering his post-Biggie career with violent incidents and allegations of abusive relationships. And the final episode covered the accuser's stories along with the federal investigation and his 2024 arrest and trial. The documentary addresses allegations about Combs' violence toward Porter during their relationship, though it doesn't present any new evidence about how she died. Here's where things get controversial, though. The documentary includes intimate footage of Combs in a hotel room just days before his September 2024 arrest, showing him on the phone with his attorney Mark Agnifilo. And in this footage, he says, "Things are happening and it's like, I want to fight for my life. I want to fight for justice, for not guilty. We're losing. We have to find someone that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. That footage raised one massive question. How did Netflix get it? Combs' attorneys sent a cease and desist letter to Netflix and 50 Cent on December 1st, 2025, claiming Netflix relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. Combs has been amassing footage since he was 19 to tell his own story in his own way. Netflix fired back hard with a spokesperson saying, "The claims being made about Sean Combs, The Reckoning, are false. The project has no ties to any past conversations between Sean Combs and Netflix. The footage of Combs leading up to his indictment and arrest were legally obtained." Director Alexandria Stapleton added her own statement. "It came to us, we obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights. We moved heaven and earth to keep the filmmaker's identity confidential." Conflicting claims about how this footage was obtained are still flying around, and it remains an open legal question nobody's resolved yet. Combs' representatives put out a statement saying, "We're not going to comment on individual claims being repeated in the documentary. Many of the people featured have long-standing personal grievances, financial motives, or credibility issues that have been documented for years. Sean Combs will continue to address legitimate matters through the legal process, not through a biased Netflix production." Netflix responded with, "This is not a hit piece or an act of retribution. Curtis Jackson is an executive producer, but does not have creative control. No one was paid to participate." Once again, Kim Porter's death became the central topic of conversation all over social media, with the documentary reigniting every conspiracy theory her family had begged people to stop spreading. Why won't the questions go away? 7 years after Kim Porter's death, the questions still won't go away, and there are several factors at play that explain why. Timing plays a huge role here because Kim Porter died in 2018 when she was still relatively young and appearing healthy, from an illness most people associate with elderly folks or people with compromised immune systems. Lobar pneumonia is severe, sure, but the fact that it killed her at 47 raised eyebrows even before any conspiracy theories started circulating. The nature of her relationship with Diddy adds another layer, because they were together for 13 years, had 3 children together, and even after their 2007 breakup, they remained extremely close. She knew him intimately, knew his business inside and out, was there during the rise of Bad Boy Records and the East Coast-West Coast rivalry and all of it, which makes people wonder what secrets she might have known. Chris Todd's fake memoir planted seeds of doubt, even though it got quickly debunked and removed from Amazon, because the fact that it reached #1 on Amazon's bestseller list means hundreds of thousands of people saw it, read it, or at least heard about its existence. Todd himself admitted he couldn't verify if it was real, but the damage was already done by then. Diddy's arrest and conviction changed how people looked at everything else in his life, which happens naturally when someone gets convicted of crimes involving violence and control over women. That 2016 video of Diddy assaulting Cassie was particularly brutal to watch. And once people saw what he was capable of on camera, the question became what else he might be capable of off camera. The Netflix documentary added fuel to the fire, especially with 50 Cent as an executive producer, given his years-long public feud with Diddy, which made some people question how objective the project could be, even though Netflix and the director insisted he didn't have creative control. The mysterious footage from days before Diddy's arrest added another layer of intrigue that fed right into conspiracy thinking. Social media is the final piece because in 2018, conspiracy theories could spread, but not like they can now in 2024 and 2025, where TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube can take a theory from fringe to mainstream in a matter of hours. The algorithm rewards engagement, and nothing drives engagement quite like a conspiracy theory involving celebrities, death, and potential cover-ups. The facts versus the theories. Let's be very clear about what we actually know versus what people are speculating about. Kim Porter died November 15th, 2018, at her home in Toluca Lake, California, and an autopsy was performed by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner Coroner, who conducted a thorough investigation before determining the cause of death was a lobar pneumonia, and the manner of death was natural causes, with no indication of foul play. Kim had been sick for over a week before she died, starting with a sore throat on November 7th and developing a fever by November 12th. And she was self-treating at home with medications and hydration drinks found at her bedside. She sent her children to stay with Diddy specifically so they wouldn't catch what she had, which shows she thought it was just the flu. Lobar pneumonia can be treated when caught early, but it turns fatal when treatment gets delayed or when the patient is dehydrated or weakened. And Porter was 47 years old, appearing to be in otherwise good health, which made her death shocking, but not medically impossible or even particularly unusual. Kim's Lost Words was not written by Kim Porter. The author, Chris Todd, admitted he couldn't verify its authenticity. It got removed from Amazon, and Kim's 4 children explicitly stated she did not write a book and that anyone claiming otherwise is lying. Kim's closest friends denied any manuscript existed, and her children, who knew her better than anyone else alive, have repeatedly stated there was no foul play, and the cause of her death has long been established by medical professionals. Those are the facts we can verify. The theories rely on speculation, on connecting dots that might not be connected, on asking what if, and filling in the blanks with assumptions rather than evidence. The theories ask us to believe that a medical examiner's office falsified an autopsy report, that multiple friends and family members are either lying or have been silenced through intimidation, and that a conspiracy has been maintained for over 7 years without a single credible piece of evidence emerging to support it. Questions that never went away, and the reason they haven't is because we live in an age where the line between fact and fiction has become so blurred that people can't tell the difference anymore. Conspiracy theories feel more satisfying than mundane truths, especially when a woman dying of pneumonia at 47 doesn't make sense to people who need there to be a villain and a plot. When someone like Sean Diddy Combs gets convicted of crimes involving violence and exploitation of women, it becomes easy, maybe even satisfying, to believe he's guilty of everything, including murder. Here's what I keep coming back to, though. Kim Porter's 4 children have asked us to stop. They've asked us to let their mother rest in peace, to remember her for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was, instead of turning her into a tragic figure in someone else's criminal story. Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah lost their mother 7 years ago and have had to grieve publicly, while strangers on the internet turn their family tragedy into entertainment for clicks and views. They've watched a fake book claim to speak in their mother's voice, watched a Netflix documentary bring everything back up again, and watched people who never knew Kim Porter claim to know the truth about her death. They've told us clearly and directly that the cause of their mother's death has long been established, that there was no foul play, and that these conspiracy theories are making their grief harder to bear every single day. Maybe it's time we listen to them. Kim Porter died of lobar pneumonia on November 15th, 2018. That's the established fact based on a thorough autopsy and investigation by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner Coroner. Everything else floating around online is speculation, and speculation, no matter how compelling it sounds or how many people share it, doesn't change what the evidence shows. The questions may never go away completely, because that's the nature of the internet, of conspiracy theories, of celebrity culture that treats real people's lives like entertainment. We can choose what we do with those questions, though. We can choose to pursue them endlessly down rabbit holes that lead nowhere, or we can choose to accept the official findings, respect the family's wishes, and let Kim Porter be remembered for her life rather than defined by unproven theories about her death. 7 years later, that might be the only respectful choice we have left. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. In the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts, not about the conspiracy theories themselves, but about how we as a society handle grief celebrity and the spread of misinformation in the digital age. Thanks for watching.